We have 10 viewers.
Hey, 10 viewers.
Hello, all people who are in the same family watching us
Welcome
right
to
now.
Planet Us, not Planet Earth, Planet Us.
Do you want to hear a joke?
I want to hear two.
Okay, do you want to hear a philosophical joke?
Sure.
So, a horse
Mhm.
keeps going to a bar. You know the usual motive. A horse walks into a bar and then he just walks into something.
Careful not to hit a naked lady.
Yeah, I maybe she likes his BDSM, but let's
I
continue.
don't
the
see any
joke.
marks on her back though.
She must have been raped as a child.
This
So,
art is by OJ, ladies and gentlemen. Which OJ, we don't know, but
probably
You'll
that's not
find
what
out
he
in the
calls
future
himself on
episodes.
Instagram. If you went to type OJ on Instagram right now, you'll find like a few options.
a company selling orange juice.
Yeah, exactly. Orange juice, the
Yeah.
OJ company.
Alright, go ahead.
So,
a horse walks
um,
into a bar.
So like a horse walks into a bar. Well, it walks into a bar repeatedly. It goes today, it goes tomorrow, it goes the day after.
Mhm.
So after a few days, the
It's just walking into
bartender
the bar.
and like a few people ask it, like, "Hey, we noticed you keep coming into this bar.
Mhm.
Is everything okay?
Mm.
Are you an alcoholic?" And the horse says, "I think not."
Wait, that was my. Okay.
Well, it probably said that right before it said, "I think not." But the horse said, "I think not." But what happens after it says, "I think not," is the most remarkable thing. It just disappears. It disappears into thin air.
Because I think, therefore I am.
I'll get to that. That's the point. But like,
Here we go.
but like,
It's coming. Yeah.
stay with me here.
Okay.
So, this is a reference to the French philosopher René Descartes' philosophy of skepticism. He lived in the 16th century. Most people will only know René Descartes when they go back to their high school and they think about the Cartesian system. Mostly when you're graphing mathematical equations, you think about the x
The
and
Cartesian
the y
plane.
axis. Exactly, the plane. But the
plane is actually
Cartesian
the
plane
X
is
and
named
Y
after René Descartes, right?
You know what
But-
that name means, actually?
What does it mean?
Descartes is a French name, so it means Rene of the maps. Descartes is map.
Of course, cartography.
Yeah.
Or it could be that maps were named after him. But hey,
There's also
you know,
carte blanche.
yeah,
Carte blanche.
carte blanche means the freedom to do anything artistically.
Yeah.
So I don't think it has any relation to René Descartes. But it could be that
This means white
maps
card,
are
actually.
named after him because it's just about graphing the terrain, which is what you
No,
would do.
he's
on a
named after
question
maps.
Okay, so what happened is René Descartes was not only a mathematician but also a philosopher,
Mm.
and he used to have a certain school of skepticism. He used to say that, okay, one of the things about like religion and existence is that we don't quite know if we truly exist and if other people truly exist.
I need you to unlock it for me so I could go through some of the stuff we're talking about as you're telling the joke.
Yeah, let me just open the brief.
As you tell the joke.
Yeah, so he was like we can't fully know if we truly exist. So one of the things that you first have to go through as like a new person in philosophy and trying to figure out your existence, figure out how can I prove that I exist, because I don't know if you exist, I don't know if anyone in this room exists, not that there are other people in this room, but I don't know.
There's a few.
And the thing is, for all we know, we could be a brain in a vat. There could be some mastermind putting us in a matrix. We could be in a video game. You know all the theories.
Mm.
But René Descartes came up with like a really clever way to figure out that he exists. He was like, and in Latin it goes dubito ergo cogito ergo sum. That last bit, cogito ergo sum, is pretty popular online. You'll see it a lot, cogito ergo sum.
I think, therefore I am.
I think, therefore I am. But the whole statement is dubito ergo cogito ergo sum.
I
What does that mean?
doubt,
I doubt, therefore I
think.
think, therefore I am. What does that mean? If I doubt about my existence, that means that I must be thinking I don't exist. But who's doing the thinking? I must admit that if
Assaulting
I
our
doubt,
lady.
yeah, well,
lady
you know,
of nudes.
dubito that she exists. But like, if
The
I
booty.
think,
The booty.
Libido
Yeah.
ego come.
if I think that I don't exist, then there must be an entity doing the thinking, doing the doubting. And therefore, if there's an entity during the doubting, there's an entity during the thinking. And therefore, if I think, I must exist, right?
Because I'm
Now,
doing the thing.
yeah, and this has become like a phenomenal concept in philosophy right to this day. Like philosophy majors be taught about it. And I could have explained this to you before I gave the joke about the horse, but that would be putting Descartes before the horse.
Oh wow. Okay, so that was a joke.
That was a joke.
And on that,
I bet you didn't see that one coming.
on that note, welcome to ThinkShack. This is episode 27.
This is episode 27. It's our second video episode.
We're approaching the 30s. At this point, you'll start hearing creaks when we move. Like,
yeah, look, oh my god, my knee is not the same as it used to be.
But I have a comment on that. Like, people always say I'm reaching the third floor and all that bullshit. Like, you're not that old. 30 is quite young, actually. 30 is a young man.
In what country?
The youth is defined as 18 to 35.
The problem is lifespans. I feel like the average lifespan of each country informs what age you're considered old at. If you are in the United States or the UK or the Netherlands and you're 35, you're a relatively young person because people on average live up to 80. If you're in Kenya and the average person dies at freaking 65, at 30 is like,
No. Here's the thing. In Kenya, it's actually the opposite. Like, how many 30-year-olds do you know that are not considered old? Like, only kijana mdogo, 30.
I don't think how many 30-year-olds I know is a direct.
Well, I'm just saying in general.
It's like a direct statement on how many 30-years are in the country.
Okay.
I might just happen to vibe with 25-year-olds, so I don't know that many 30-year-olds.
Pedophile.
That's
I'm just
true.
messing with
You know.
The thing with your mask, it looks like it's smiling the whole time. So
Yeah.
it looks like an uncomfortable smile as well.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, the viewers can deal with that.
yeah.
But like also, one of the things I noticed looking at our analytics on Spotify and YouTube is that our average demographic is like between 18 and 25. So I don't know why we attract people who are at least 5 years younger than us, but it is what it is.
Do you think 25-year-olds drink KO Tambuzi?
I don't think a lot of Kenyans know about that particular
It
brand
has
of gin.
rose and cucumbers. Ladies, it has cucumbers.
Mm-hmm. I know a lot of Kenyans know about like Konyagi and Gilbey's, but I don't know a lot of Kenyans know about KO. How much is this particular
I have
bottle?
something inappropriate to say about cucumbers. Dildos are not widely sold in Kenya. Remember there's a time
cucumbers are.
You remember there's a time we played this game.
Widely
It was like
sold
with some ladies. It was called Truth or Dare or Truth or Drink. I heard you, sir.
I'm sure they did too.
And we asked one of them, or both of them, if they had ever tried to insert a cucumber into their orifices. And they said yes. So cucumbers are used for more than making gin.
That reminds me of something I was thinking about today. I was actually telling someone, like, we had a conversation. I was just talking to someone in ThinkShack. And I was like, one of the weirdest things I've noticed is that I've never met a single man that has had sex with more than one virgin. Every guy is like, have you ever had sex with a virgin? It's like, yeah, there was this one time. But no guy is like, oh, I've had sex with this virgin and this virgin and this virgin. I know they exist, but I personally have never met them. I'm pretty sure you have never met
You're
one.
right. I can't argue
And you
that.
know what I found even more interesting is that if you decide to go look for women that have had sex with more than one virgin, the percentages are probably even lower. Because the percentage of women who've had sex with even just one virgin is probably
Now here's the thing. The
severely
issue with
lower.
that is the reporting. No man will report that he's a virgin. You will just see it in his actions.
Yeah, a lot of men are virgins undercover.
Right.
But then also, also on the other
undercover virgin sounds like a good movie plot.
undercover virgin, the 40-year-old virgin goes undercover. Yeah, you remember the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin?
I've never watched the movie, but I know about
I
it.
thought that was a really far-fetched concept.
There's a really offensive line by Kanye West who says, Passion of the Christ, 33-year-old virgin, because the assumption is that Jesus was a virgin at the time of his death. But what most people don't realize is that there's a big part of Jesus' life we don't know about.
Mary Magdalene? I've heard the conspiracy theories.
I mean, if she's going to wash your feet with her hair, it means you've done something to her.
I mean, for a woman to do that, like, you just look into your own life. Before a woman
Who
even
has washed my feet with her
freaking sucks your member.
Member of Parliament.
I'm so good at figurative speech.
What was it called? A tumescence.
Yeah, before a woman offers fellatio,
fellatio to your
fellatio,
to your tumescence.
you know, where she wraps her oral orifice around your tumescent phallus.
We're going too deep into that.
She must be really into you.
But you know, remind me of a joke our chemistry teacher used to make.
So imagine washing your feet with her hair, which is pretty impractical if you think about it. Who washes feet with hair?
After putting anointing oil on them.
Like, I can understand getting a wig to wash feet with, because it's technically hair. You just have to get a human hair
still,
wig,
like,
which are pretty expensive.
It's the most far-fetched thing, though.
I imagine even human hair wigs were expensive back then.
So wait, you're saying...
But your own hair?
You don't believe that Jesus was a virgin? By that time, Mary Magdalene was doing whatever
I mean, let's go a few steps back. Do I believe Jesus existed?
Well,
I think that's the more relevant question.
That was going to take us down a deep rabbit hole or a turtle hole, depending on which type of animal
you know,
have to get
yeah,
into.
we have talked about
But what I was saying
before.
was, there's a big part of Jesus' life that we don't know about. Like, by the time he was 12 in Egypt getting lost, what had he gone to do? He had gone to grab some ass. And then by the time he turns like 33, when he's a carpenter.
Yeah, there's that fact as well. Like,
this guy
Jesus
is you know,
Jesus,
that's like a euphemism.
Yeah, and it's come up in a gospel song before. It's like, and I've heard people use it sexually, like as a joke. But also, I think a really critical piece of information is that Jesus began his calling came at 33, which means there's a whole ass lifetime before that time that we know nothing about and isn't recorded. And so that's the question. Like, bruv, I am not even 33 yet, and I've done a lot of shit. If at 33 I decide that I am now the most holy person in the universe, that doesn't necessarily erase all the nasty shit I've done out there, you know?
But before we get carried away or struck by lightning, let's get back to our beautiful KO Tambuzi. Why do they call it Tambuzi? Let me read what it says.
I don't understand liquor names. Have you seen 254 names? You know the 254 beer company?
Look at this font though. Like, they have this weird font that keeps interrupting the well, you can't even read it. It makes no sense.
Mount Kenya, authentically fresh, and they just like keep like putting it in between
some weird
the words.
calligraphy. Maybe that's the poison they put in there. They put poison in there. They don't want you to see.
We're gonna fuck up your freaking perception now.
All right, so we have an audience here. You probably won't be able to see them. I don't know if they want to be seen.
Well, it's a probability of 100%. So the word you should use is you certainly.
But I will say this is a very nice looking bottle. It's a very nice looking bottle. It's only 20. You asking for the price? It's only like 2,300. This is South Bay, so probably like adjusted for inflation in Nairobi. Probably like.
What's the original? Because
2,000 most places.
KO have a shop at Westlands. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I did. I went to them. We actually tried to get KO.
So if you bought this at the Westland shop, it would probably be somewhere around 2,000, 2,100.
No. This is 2,300 in South B. So it's probably a bit more expensive in those other parts.
Of course, because they add their little
so
profit.
It would probably be like 3,000 in those other areas. Anyways, so here we are.
Wait. Let's get on the same page. You think South B is cheaper than other areas?
Yeah, I would imagine.
I always figure South B is more expensive.
Is this a cork? That would be pretty cool. Let me see.
I don't think so.
It is a cork. Wait, what the fuck?
If it's a cork, then that
it is a
price tag doesn't make any sense.
Look, it's about to pop. Ladies.
I'm waiting to see. Oh shit, it is a cork.
How did that feel?
I said cork.
How did that feel?
Not cock.
You want me to do it again? Oh, it's very strong. It smells like paraffin. God damn. Oh, but it smells like cucumbers as well. Smell it. Why are you scared to reach it? You grab it like it stole money from you or something. Careful.
It smells more like rose to me.
Yeah. The first whiff was a bit too strong.
Yeah, it
I would like everyone else to try and experience this. Like everyone in the studio, get a whiff of this Tambuzi. So
I'm surprised that KO is really good at getting distribution for their beers. Oh, sorry, ciders, because KO doesn't sell beers; it sells ciders. If anyone has watched a Beer Shack episode, a cider is like an alcoholic drink, derived from things like apples, fruit, like oranges, like fruits you'd find in an orchard, while beer is derived from like barley and so on. So like KO sells ciders and they're really well distributed. We've been to so many clubs where if you ask for a KO, you get it. But a KO gin isn't as well distributed.
It's not as common. So what do you guys think of the smell?
I love the fruity feel.
Yeah. Fruity smell of it, yeah?
I feel like it will attract bees.
What about the ladies?
Wherever you are.
Do you smell the cucumber?
A berry smell.
A berry smell.
Yeah.
Alright. But do you smell the cucumber?
I don't smell it.
I don't smell the cucumber.
I
either.
smell the roses, which I think for me is a proxy.
So this is a scam.
Fruity.
All right. So how are we gonna do this?
Maybe the cucumber is supposed to be, like really in there. Just like, it usually is in normal life. Chuchuba.
Cucumba, as Jay likes to call it. So this is for you, Ramsey.
I always find that one so funny.
Wait, did you actually watch the TikTok then?
No, I haven't watched the TikTok, but I've seen the memes.
Alright, let's do the SMR before we continue. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for...
What is it?
Wait.
For Kukujia.
Listen! Taurus. Oscar killed his girlfriend. Oscar Pistorius. It's just because it sounds like piss. Here you go, Ramsey. I put too much for you, though.
But he still managed.
I think we need more tumblers for the ladies and everyone else, I guess. Is this one of them?
Well, as far as the camera is concerned...
Cody, is this... Can we drink out of this?
Go ahead.
Alright, just redistribute. I feel like that's too much. You're gonna die. The cucumber is gonna choke you. A man should not have that much cucumber in
How
his
much
throat.
alcohol can a man have before he passes out?
You do so little. That shows how much of an alcoholic you are.
And it's not even something to be proud of, is the thing.
Alright, you go do the next ASMR. Put the glass on the table. And then pour me a drink, my good sir.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's hospitality. You can pour your own drink.
And I'm gonna pour it in.
Like, gentlemen.
Did you know Gion means knockout?
Alright, that's enough. I don't want to die. A man shouldn't have too much cucumber in his throat.
I feel like the name is tongue-in-cheek. I literally feel like that's what they meant when they called it KO. It's like, we're gonna knock you
the fuck out.
Freaking
Like,
out.
you remember, I think it's because we're getting old, but you remember when we went out and then we had like 4 ciders and then we're like, oh shit. We're getting old because those 4 ciders, even though it's 8%, although I did the math, and that's the equivalent of drinking like half a quarter of Mzinga.
Yeah, I remember that. So like,
which one of our guests wants to taste?
We were having this conversation before we were like debating what to try today, and you were telling me about Tuborg, and I was telling you Tuborg, Faxi, Atlas. There's like this class of beers that goes up to 12-15% alcohol.
Made for your dad and his best friend.
And they're always in a can, and one can just knocks you the fuck out. And I kind of feel like that's the same logic that we're seeing with KO.
Feel free to use the chaser because for us, we just want to review the drink, so we need to taste the actual.
And it is flavored, so I'm just gonna throw that in.
Yeah. I wish our camera lady doing the live. But the camera lady with the nice hair. Do you see any comments on the live?
Yeah, the comments.
What are people saying?
They're just joking about stuff with you. They're talking about.
Ah, okay. I wish I could interact with them. Maybe.
How many viewers do we have?
At the moment, 5.
Oh,
that's a huge number. That's like
that's more than a
as
threesome.
many as the fingers I have in one hand.
That's more than a
proud of
threesome.
that.
That's more than a threesome. All right, bro. Let's go for it. Let's.
We really have to be proud of our small wins.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they are small.
Wait. Slow down.
Ah, shit. Aren't we supposed to do that on camera?
No, the camera is rolling, isn't it? Are we rolling?
We're not rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're rolling.
We're officially on our period.
I'm gonna put my headphone on and I'm gonna go on a roll because we are on our period.
Yeah.
We're on our recording
This looks like a
period.
good place to be on your period.
Let me put this.
I feel like we sound more high
into
than
my
usually.
body.
So, cheers. What did you
I
say?
can't
in
hear you
Poland?
weirdly though.
In Poland, we say
The
stolat.
headphones aren't working.
Stolat.
No, wait. The
Where?
headphones aren't working.
Cheers, motherfucker.
I mean, stolat, sure, but the headphones aren't working.
They are. I can hear myself. I can hear you. Yours must be dim or something. And I don't think we need the headphones
Just say
to work.
something.
Like, what
Should
is
give me
that? What's
1,000
the
more?
language
But
of
anyway,
peasants?
I get what you're saying. Now I can hear you. Now the mics.
All right, let's
the
drink this shit,
headphones
man.
are working.
Let's drink this.
So we are
pink
about to ingest
piss of
some
the gods.
poison. I always find these masks funny because they
No, but
really
shit.
accentuate our fish lips.
But you can smell them.
But
We have some neo lips.
so sexy, girl.
You're so ugly when you cry. Oh wait, that was Beyonce, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No
no
guy
guy.
can
Literally,
ever
no
make a
guy in
song
history,
like
and I'm willing to die on this hill. No guy in history has
We'll tell a
ever.
woman.
There's
you're
no
so ugly.
lyric
You'll
in
get
any
cancelled.
song by any man in history. Prove me wrong right now. That goes. The guy
You're
says,
so
"You're so
ugly."
ugly when you cry."
You'll get cancelled
No guy in
instantly.
history has ever said that to a woman.
It's like, oh my god, he's so abusive. Anyways, let's get ugly
And
right
that
now.
just speaks about gender
Let's
inequality.
get ugly.
But let's drink. Talk about liquor inequality. Some liquors are just fucking shit.
No, this is not bad though.
It's
I
not
don't
good
drink al-
either.
I don't like
so
alcohol.
you know, like we're on the fence.
So there's a
Woohoo!
Here's the thing, I can taste what it says it has, so that's a win.
There's a comment here.
Mm-hmm.
Ramsey believes Giving Steve Harvey.
I sure hope my destiny does not resemble his though.
Or his mustache.
Or his because let's talk about Steve Harvey's mustache. What the hell is that?
It looks like it's growing on him.
Do you
It's
know
like a
I was
parasite.
researching, and we're gonna get to Steve Harvey later on the episode, but I was researching, and this Marjorie woman actually, when they go back together, told him, "I need you to keep that mustache. If a woman really loves you, she is not gonna tell you to keep that mustache."
No, it's part of his identity. Maybe she saw him without the mustache. She was like, "Oh God, no."
That's
Never
the
again.
thing. If a woman
Never
loves
again.
your identity,
Have you ever seen
she
edited?
loves,
Have you ever seen edited
nobody
pictures?
is ever going to recommend us.
Have you ever-
Don't go into a barber shop. You know how on a barber shop you have a freaking catalog showing all the hairstyles you can get?
Number 32
and
is
the
always my
bits-
favorite.
You never find on any of the suggestions
never
Steve
find.
Harvey. Have you ever seen Steve Harvey in a barbershop catalog?
Maybe old
I mean,
people. Maybe
I've
old
seen
people
Omarion, I've seen Ludacris, I've seen a lot of American celebrities, but I've never once seen Steve Harvey in a
But who
barbershop
shaves bald,
catalog.
though? Steve Harvey is completely bald. Now here's the thing. That thing looks like it's growing on his face.
Yeah, but his mustache is.
Have you ever seen pictures
It's
of
growing
him?
on his face is the perfect
Have
statement.
you ever seen pictures of him without the mustache? It looks like an alien creature. It doesn't look normal. Yeah, it looks like.
So you think the wife was actually telling him you should
Just
keep
cover
that
it up.
mustache from
Yeah,
the
just cover it
perspective
up. It's the
I
only
literally
attractive thing about
cannot
you.
tolerate any other version of you.
Mm.
I mean, this is shit already.
He looks like a
but this
bobblehead,
is
actually.
probably the best possible version I can tolerate of you, and I'll tolerate it for the next 15 years before I have sex with a god that told you to look for me after you divorced your previous wife and marry me because I'm the only woman who made you happy.
All right, let's review this. Right, what do you taste? What does it taste like?
That's a topic we're gonna cover later in the
No,
podcast.
this right here.
No, Steve Harvey. And the
Yeah,
wife.
we'll cover Steve Harvey. Yeah, we'll cover him with shame.
Personally,
after this.
personally, as far as KO is concerned, I can see the appeal as far as like the flavors.
It's a good flavor. I would say it's a good flavor.
I'm
Like
gonna put
being
on my
objective.
smiley face now.
Being objective-
But as far as like I'm in a club, I feel like I'm going to tend towards the familiar. I'm sure this looks awkward as fuck, so I'm gonna just switch on my camera.
Yeah, it looks horrible, man. It looks like
Like-
your mouth is on your nose.
Like, why do you look disfigured, man?
Yeah,
Who fucked you up?
it's like you.
Steve Harvey did.
Anyway, so about KO,
Yeah.
I can taste the rose. What the fuck was it? What rose water or something? I don't even know what it was. Excessive consumption.
Sometimes I think about these things from the perspective of often when you are putting out a product, you have this weird dilemma or like a balance between giving an exclusive experience, which may not appeal to everyone, versus a generic experience, which is going to appeal to most people. But it's not going to give you as much of a margin, because if you give an exclusive experience, you can charge as much as you want. So for example, what I'm talking about is like, look at like Rolls-Royce as the car brand. This is a totally like 180-degree change, but like,
Of course.
walk with me here. Rolls-Royce, the brand, makes limited edition vehicles. They will do the most random shit. They literally put a freaking umbrella into some compartment in the door so you can like pull something that looks like a handle and it's an umbrella. Their doors open in totally opposite ways to what you're used to, and so on. And now I was looking the other day and I found out that Rolls-Royce made the most expensive vehicle in history, and it cost like $25 million.
Was it the Cullinan?
It's so expensive that literally one of like the clock on the dashboard is actually an Audemars Piguet. Yeah,
It's a
you're
watch.
the
That's
French
a watch.
guy.
That's a watch.
Obviously, the Audemars Piguet either costs tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's like retractable. You can like put it on your hand or watch. I'm not wearing an Audemars, guys. Sorry, this is like a simple Casio.
This is a Casio kutoka Murang'a.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it's actually a pretty nice watch. Let me know.
Yeah, I was looking at it. No, let me finish. I was looking at it and I was like, Rolls-Royce, what they do is they're like, even if it gets just like 10, 20, 30, because most of the vehicles are limited editions, like only so many have ever been made. They are going for maximum margin. So they're going to price each one at a very high price. They're going to try to make their clientele exclusive. They're going to draw this picture around themselves. It's like, this is an exclusive club where you have to meet certain standards to be part of it. On the other hand, we have Toyota.
Yep.
Which tries to make a model for virtually everyone. Are you a mom? Are you a dad? Are you a, I don't know, like are you in your 20s? Are you, like they have a model for everyone. Obviously, with Toyota, you're gonna get some stuff, and not everybody's gonna like it. But Toyota plays the volume game, so it's like as long as we sell a lot of cars around the world, even though we're making a small margin for each car, we're still gonna be profitable.
It oddly balances out because Mercedes will sell fewer cars than Toyota, but then still be more profitable.
That's a tricky topic because technically they're owned by Volkswagen, which now happens to have passed Toyota.
They're not owned by Daimler. Daimler Chrysler.
No, Daimler is owned by Volkswagen. Volkswagen owns Lamborghini. They own I don't know, like pick random brand, Porsche, probably Volvo. Like they own a lot of European vehicles, and so by having a lot of these under the umbrella, they happen to be they sell the most vehicles in the world, just past Toyota. But that's a topic for another day. My point is, a lot of the time when you're dealing with putting either your character or a product out there, you're either playing the margin game where you're like, I'm gonna deal with exclusivity where I have margins up, or you're playing the volume game. It's like, I'm gonna put out as much of the cheap stuff out so I can make a profit anyway.
I found a good comparison for this.
I find that KO is playing the margin game. So they're like, we're going to taste a very unique way, and this is going to appeal to a certain kind of person. Because when you taste KO, you can tell there's a uniqueness to it. It's not like Gilbey's, not even the flavored Gilbey's, right? But then because of that, they're never going to play the volume game. You're not going to see them in clubs. You're not going to see them at events. You're literally going to have to either go to a wines and spirits, your local wines and spirits, if you are so blessed to have a wines and spirits that has that much variety, or go to KO's shop in Westlands to buy it. But if you go to a wines and spirits if you go to a club, you're going to find Gilbey's, right? Because Gilbey's is playing the volume game. And that's...
So let's just analyze the flavor, because you went on a big tangent right there, man.
So yeah, I do get carried away.
The complex flavors and aromas, you can actually taste the juniper berries in this one, because when you taste gin, you really feel the juniper.
If anyone has watched our previous episodes, we did say that one of the key characteristics of all gin is that gin contains juniper berries. Look it up. If it doesn't have juniper berries, it's not gin. It's required for it to be categorized.
On top of the juniper berries, there's the citrus peel. I don't taste that per se.
I think that accounts for the fruity flavor.
And it says
because citrus is like orange.
The local Murang'a cucumber, because I can taste a little bit of like the...
They literally even said where the cucumber came from? Murang'a?
Yeah, Murang'a. They say they take you on a journey to 6 local regions for an authentically, because they put the mafinos on the word, authentically Kenyan drinking.
I mean, I can see where they're headed, but I can also see the pretentiousness in it.
Of course.
Now, if you're drinking
Ciroc, nice.
We know Ciroc is the only vodka in the world that's made from grapes. And it's made from grapes from a specific part of France. And that's cool. But for someone to come sell me gin and be like, this is made using cucumber from Murang'a, that does not have the same ring to it,
man.
I
mean, it's the same thing, though. It's just like, Africans hate themselves. We hate ourselves, a lot of them. We have a lot of us. We have an inferiority complex where you're like, oh, Murang'a, yuck. But when you hear some place in France, probably there's rats. There's rats in Paris, on the streets of Paris? You can see rats.
I believe that.
You don't even see rats in Nairobi.
I believe there are probably rats in New York the size of human beings, but that's not the point.
No, the thing is, you don't even see rats in Nairobi. People be like, oh, Nairobi is so dirty. Paris is very dirty. Paris is extremely dirty.
No. My point is, and I totally believe it, my point is that when it comes to, say, for example, things like wine or Ciroc vodka, France is popular for its vineyards because...
Murang'a is popular for its cucumbers.
No, it's not. Literally ask anyone in this room,
what
is the most memorable thing you remember from Murang'a? And tell me who says, oh, the cucumbers there were nice. And I'll tell you, they have no dildos.
That person will be a freak.
I'm telling you right now, if you go to France is known for its vineyards. And these people put a lot of time and effort into mixing these strains to come up with the best grapes to make their, proprietary wines and all of that, right? But how many farmers in Murang'a do you know that actually go through the trouble to make up greenhouses and come up with strains of cucumbers that nobody else in the world produces? Because France does that. And then you come to me and you tell me, it's literally like, to me, this is the liquor version of Kashkropia Nyandaro ni Mawaru. It's like, okay, fine, I didn't know Nyandaro sells Warus, but now that you've told me, great, fine, I'll go buy. But that doesn't tell me that Nyandaro's Warus are better than any other county's Warus. You get what I'm trying to say? So if for you to tell me that you're gonna sell me a product that's predicated on a farm produce that comes from a particular county, sounds pretentious as fuck.
Where do pears
what's
come
so
from?
special about it?
Where do pears come from in Kenya? Mapera.
What's the English?
That's a
name?
random one.
I
It's
know.
just
I've never known what the English.
I
name
saw
for
this
that
lady
is.
we're talking about. It's called Nampera. It sounds like Mapera.
The Ugandan DJ.
She's thick though. She's fine. Nampera, Christine sex tape.
We're gonna send.
Should we watch her
the
sex tape
pictures
online?
so they can see? No, of course we're not gonna watch the sex tape.
Why not?
Because
Why not?
that's how we don't get views.
Nah,
YouTube
that's
is
how we
gonna
get viewers.
ban
Have you
us.
noticed in Kenya, if you make something raunchy, you get a lot of views?
I
That's
mean,
why Edgar
sure,
Bayer
you
is doing
post
this
on
whole-
Telegram,
Oh shit, it's 10:41.
but not on YouTube.
Edgar Bayer is actually doing some news right now. You know, that's the thing. That's the interesting thing.
He's
So
doing an explicit
you're not gonna lose
show.
views for doing an explicit show in Kenya. But apparently, she's a popular DJ from Uganda. How does a
I
DJ
had
get
never
this thing?
heard of her before the sex.
The interesting thing is, Trevor says, as usual, she is known for her big ass, as usual, as if he even knew her.
It
Like,
makes
imagine-
sense though. It makes sense though. I can see where it's coming from. For example, look at some of our.
You can see where it's
biggest
coming
celebrities.
from?
I mean, no, I can't see his dick, if that's what you mean. But like
That
what
was
I
from a
mean,
previous short, but
what I mean is that I can see the reference. For example, we have like a lot of celebrities in Kenya, and you look at them, you're like, literally, the only reason you're famous is because you have a huge ass.
Vera Sidika, how are you doing? We're talking about someone else, not you.
Or Njoki Murira.
Joki Murira is
Like literally, this girl got to the point where she even built her mother a house
from ass.
from TikTok donations. And what were the donations about? Niggas weren't just like, oh, I like your personality. I'm just
Did you
gonna
know
donate
when you
money
did
to
when you
It
did
was
like
just about her ass.
if you do a class about building houses, nowhere will it say you can build a house with an ass, but it's possible. And
It's
Joki Murira has done
possible.
it.
Exactly.
Like-
So I actually watched this sex tape. There's a link
How was it?
here.
How would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? You know,
They
where
looked
porn
horny
is
as
source.
hell. I'll,
It was in
I'll,
a
I'll
toilet, though?
describe it to you. I will not show it to you. I can't show it to you, but I will describe it to you. So basically,
look
what
for
we
it
have,
myself.
and I saw 2 versions, and I thought they were really weird. So basically, what we
Wait,
have
2 versions?
is we
There's
have
angles to it? I thought it was
no,
in a toilet.
no, 2 versions. What I mean is that
Alright.
in those 2, there were 2 different men. So
Jesus
I don't know if the
Christ.
second one was really her, because I saw it on like one of those Telegram groups. It just like shares like exposés. But what I saw was like, so I know her boyfriend has like a weird like beard and shit. You know, it just starts from the sideburns and goes round.
That's a normal beard. Sounds like a normal beard to me.
Yeah,
That is a weird beard. I think Steve Harvey's is a weird beard.
exactly. But like,
we'll get to that.
you stay with me here. You
Yeah,
get what I mean.
I get what you mean.
So they're in the toilet, and first.
Wait,
is-
just a quick correction. You know, in Kenya we like to say in the toilet, but it's really in the bathroom or in the washroom. Because in the toilet, you.
I think bathroom is a terrible term to use for a
No,
toilet.
but let's
It's
say
an American.
washroom.
It's an
But, okay,
American
let's say washroom
misnomer,
then, but then
right?
you're not inside the
because
toilet.
you bath in the bathroom. You
But
don't,
you don't-
shit in the bathroom.
But you're not in the toilet though. In the side of the toilet. The toilet is the device on which you.
or it could be the room.
No, that's only
The
in Africa.
British
That's only
version.
in Africa. You know, it's like
Americans literally call it the washroom. Ask any Brit, they'll be like, either you're going to
They'll
the
say the
toilet or
loo.
to the John.
to the jaw. No, nobody says.
Loo is figurative. It's just like your euphemism.
The thing is, I'm trying to say it's a place. It's not the actual toilet.
Okay,
If they
so
were
they're in the
toilet-
room with the toilet.
Right,
For
there we
anyone who
go.
cares to hear.
Right.
They're in the room
Everybody
with the
does.
toilet, and Nampera is sitting on the toilet in the room with the toilet, and this guy is busy giving her oral satisfaction.
on the toilet. What the fuck?
That's the part that I found weird. So he's giving her a whole CJ
Can you imagine the bacteria? That's
while
there?
she's on the toilet. And then on top of that, he gets up, she gets up, he sits on the toilet. I really hope he put the toilet seat down, you know, hygiene and all that.
This reminds me of a time when I was in the strip club with a friend of mine, and then I was like, I had a very
I
weird.
love how
observation.
casually you say you were in a strip
I
club.
mean, it's a
with
while
friend
ago
of yours.
before I knew the Lord Jesus
Like,
Christ.
let's go
But
to
here's
the
the
strip
thing.
club.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I was just observing. Everybody's like, yeah, the girl is like busy shaking her ass on the pole, and then I looked at my friend. I was like, hey. Imagine how much bacteria is on that pole, because it's literally rubbing her ass
And how
on the
many,
pole.
how many
I'm
different
like-
asses have rubbed on that?
Literally, when I said that, another stripper comes on and does the same exact thing, rubbing her ass. I was like, bro, what the?
I
fuck?
imagine the rates of like disease transmission among strippers are
feces on
probably
that
high.
pole.
We need a study done on this. But let me get back to the story.
Yeah.
So he sits on the toilet, she sits on him, so it's like a whole reverse cowgirl thing going on. And then he gets like these guys did the most. He gets up, she gets up, he does it while she's standing, like, he's literally
does
holding
what?
her. You know, the whole in out penetration thing.
Oh, okay. Now I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get the picture.
And then at some point he has to sit back on the toilet, and then he's doing the whole missionary thing while she's on the toilet. So like,
This was all recorded?
the funniest part for me was that the whole POV, how we're seeing this, because some random guy, and I remember we had this joke in episode 25 about like voyeurism. Like, how can you not live your life knowing nobody's watching? But it's like some random guy is literally at like the bars on top of the toilet. You know, like there's always that small window on top of the toilet, and he's like with his camera, and then he brings it down every time they turn around to like face the window, and then he brings it up.
That guy must have made so much money selling that sex tape. Can you imagine?
I am so shocked because I'm like, how many people are out there just being like, I'm gonna go out of my house today, and
I
you
will
never
catch
know.
someone having
You
sex.
never know who's
And I
gonna be
will
having
record
sex.
it.
I'm gonna be ready to record it. That is such a weird freaking motivation to leave the house in the morning, you know?
But again, these are celebrities, so there's obviously people looking for them. There's people waiting for them to fuck up.
Now the question is,
fuck each other.
and I think this is an important question. I'm sorry, I like to get philosophical, but this is an important question. A celebrity or not, if you are out there having sex with your
Carnal knowledge.
knowledge,
As the guy from the Why Are You Gay interview said, are you having carnal knowledge with this woman?
yeah. So you are gay. Who says I'm gay?
Do you perform the
are
natural
gay.
obligations? That's the best way to refer to
If
sex.
you are out there having carnal knowledge of a partner,
Performing
you're
the
not
natural
cheating on anyone, you know,
obligations.
and someone decides to be voyeuristic about it, and put it out there. It's like, I guess the important question is like, what level of shame is appropriate? So, for example, to give you like a random example, you know today that President Ruto is, married to his wife, because otherwise she wouldn't be his wife. But like, let's say someone releases a sex tape of President Ruto and his wife.
Hii kitu nataka nikule. Nataka tukule kitu vizuri sana.
Yeah.
He's like doing.
Now
all
the
sorts of
question
weird
is,
shit.
if it was released, I mean that's all there. But the question is, from President Ruto's perspective, how embarrassed should you be if someone filmed you having sex with your wife? Should you just be like, okay, fuck it. First of all,
It's my wife. Yeah. It's like it's my wife. I can fuck her
Yeah, exactly.
on any
'Cause-
toilet I like.
I mean, it's another thing when like you find like a politician had sex with like an escort, or someone was cheating on their partner and they just happen to be popular. It's like, it adds an extra layer to the scandal. But the base layer is you were having sex and someone happened to see it. So how embarrassing should that be?
I think it's all about the hygiene of the situation. It's not really that scandalous if someone went to their house and recorded them from the window. I mean, it's a sex tape, sure, whatever. They're in their house. But it's in the
Yeah.
toilet. Like, these people couldn't wait to get home. And first of all, that's a very unhygienic situation. So you can imagine that's where the outrage or there's the shock.
No, but
value
that
comes
raises
from.
an additional question. So, for example, any random couple that is not a celebrity couple can have sex in the toilet and nobody's going to give a fuck. Couples have sex in toilets all the time in clubs. But just because you're a celebrity, now you have to give a fuck. Personally,
I mean, you're giving a fuck in the toilet. So,
yeah,
technically.
or taking it. But like personally, I'm just thinking whether or not you wanted to be a celebrity, notwithstanding, everybody should have a certain right to privacy. And even if that privacy is breached, as in someone,
so many juvenile jokes.
yeah, even if that privacy is breached and someone came and filmed you and posted it, it should be such that you shouldn't give a fuck. It's like, oh, okay, you found my sex tape, good for you. I was fucking my husband. Enjoy.
I mean,
personally,
that's
I think
easy
a
to say.
certain
That's
level
easy
of
to say.
don't
Here's the thing.
care
That's easy
attitude
to
is
say,
useful.
But what would happen? I know you're a very private person, so what if it was you? You'd be flipping out like, oh my goodness.
I'm actually walking you through my mental process for how I would rationalize it so that I wouldn't give a fuck.
That's how it would be.
Personally, I would just be like, okay, yo, guy, you were fucking your girlfriend. You literally owe no explanation to anyone. Personally, I think the cameraman owes an explanation to everyone because what the fuck, you need to get a life.
It's like news though. It's like news. Remember, you had a different reaction to the news. If someone saw your news, you'd probably be a bit mortified.
Actually, I had
okay,
a
man.
reaction
I
to
was like,
someone
yeah.
seeing me take a shit, if you're gonna go there.
Someone
my
watched you take a
news.
shit?
No, I'm just saying that would be a lot more embarrassing than if someone saw me having
I think I
sex.
said that in the
Because
last
taking a
episode,
shit, if there's ever a position that makes you look really like an animal,
Really
it's
powerless.
like the squat position, not sitting on a toilet, squatting. You're just squatting there and taking a shit. Like
Some people actually squat on
Like
the
I
toilet.
made this joke
Have you ever
previously. I
been-
was
have you
like,
ever
we
been-
have taken people to the moon. We have freaking cured malaria. We are freaking gods. But you take a shit, it's like there's no difference between you and
Have
a
you ever
fucking
used a
baboon.
public washroom and then you find like foot marks or footprints on the toilet? Like some people from Machinani or God knows wherever the fuck they're from, you will find that they've actually gone and squatted on sit toilets.
I've seen something crazier. I was when I was in high school. Me and my friend went to the toilet. And you know, like
Wait, you went together?
Let's not pay attention to that detail.
Let's not pay attention to that detail.
I mean,
I like the silence.
there is
Okay,
a
I'm sorry,
completely
go ahead.
heterosexual explanation for
All
this.
right, let's listen.
But let's not go into it.
Yeah.
So we were in the toilet. We just so happened, coincidentally, to be in the toilet at the same time. For anyone who gives a fuck. And this guy went into the toilet, and then he saw like a streak of shit right around the toilet.
That guy
wall.
must have been having fun.
The toilet walls are like, it's just white tile. You've been to high school toilet walls. It's just white tiles. Like there's a streak of shit going around. It's like we were trying to break down
What
logically
happened? The CSI.
the
forensics.
series of events
It's like forensics.
that would have led to you streaking shit all around, like freaking at head level, eye level. It's like, what did this guy do? Did he have such diarrhea that he walked in, took his toilet out, and just bent over and just like went around? Oh my god, where the fuck is the toilet seat? And then finally found it after spraying the whole thing.
I already have an
This
explanation.
is the craziest
I
thing.
already have an explanation.
Let me know.
The guy probably wiped himself and ended up touching. He was like, "Oh my god, yuck!" And then he tried to wipe it
What
off.
did he wipe himself with? And he with his hand?
You know high school toilets. Sometimes
That's
you don't
even crazier. Why are you wiping your ass with your hand?
Maybe he was Muslim,
Muslims wash their asses, they don't wipe them.
but you still need to.
And those toilets did not have water. They had tissue paper. You had to literally get water. But
It's a matter of
even then,
principle.
there was so much shit on the walls that I think you must have had to use such an incredibly small amount of water for you to have to wipe that much shit around the wall. Because
Okay, the
if
reason
I
I say
am
this-
putting water in my hand and wiping my ass, and I know we're getting really graphic here, I know for example, I'm not going to see that much shit, you know?
I'm just gonna point out this is the third episode in a row that Ramsey has gone in detail about shit and the ass and the mechanisms behind shit.
Yeah, you can ask for your refund, which allows me
But
to
here's
get
the
into
thing,
the
you know-
second
no,
topic.
let me
which
just
is,
explain something. You know, the thing is, I got an explanation real quickly because there was this show called Filth. It's a show about like really dirty homes, and then sometimes the people who come to clean these places will find feces in the most random places, on the light switch, on the door.
why would you have feces
These
on the light
people
switch?
have dementia.
Why?
So they have dementia. So this person.
So I forgot
goes
I took a
crazy.
shit?
No, they go crazy and then they just like
Oh my
they
god.
lose all their hygiene.
I don't know that I took a shit in the past 10 minutes. I'm gonna touch my ass. First of all, the logic behind that is weird because why would you want to touch your ass whether or not you took a shit? Unless you like to just like finger yourself. Like, oh, there's actually shit. It looks at it and like, oh, sorry, I actually don't remember I have shit. Let me go switch on the lights.
Sips KO calmly.
I am trying to figure out the series of events that leads to you having shit on a light switch. Unintentionally.
The acrobatics that were involved.
The acrobatics that would be involved.
You have to jump.
I mean, I can totally see, like, I don't think dementia is a good excuse. It's like, imagine if
a
you met
mental
someone,
illness.
imagine if you went to someone's house and you found shit on the light switch and you were like, why is there shit on your light switch? Like, oh, sorry, I have dementia. Would you accept that as an explanation?
You know, the thing is,
Like, yeah, that totally explains
like,
everything.
they're
If someone
properly
came to me
crazy.
and was like, I don't have toilet paper. But okay, I understand.
It's not understandable why it end up on the light switch if you don't have toilet paper.
Why you wiped your
On
ass
the
with your
light
hand?
switch though.
Then you went to switch on the lights.
But it makes me question like how many things in people's houses you should not touch. Not just about the shit thing,
how
'cause
many,
that's a bit
how many
extreme.
things in your own house? you
No,
should
but that's
not
just
touch?
extreme. But think about how many places people have had sex in their house. You come to the couch and probably there's those cum residue where you're sad.
Yeah, I've always had that thought.
Trauma.
Like, you just go see a couple, you visit a guy, like, you look extra kinky.
So a friend of mine.
How
went
do
to-
I know
a
you
friend
did
of
not
mine,
have sex on top of this
A
microwave?
friend of mine went to visit her friends, and then she found a bunch of diapers. She was like, "You guys don't have kids. What's all this about?" So apparently they were doing role play with diapers.
So someone was wearing diapers.
No, yeah. So the lady was wearing diapers, and she was like, we like to role play in diapers. So I pretend I'm a baby,
Someone
and then
in
the
the
guy,
audience is laughing because I have a similar story.
and then
but
the guy
please
changes,
finish.
and then the guy changes my diaper, and that's part of our role play. And then after that, we have sex. What is sexually exciting about
changing
a diaper?
someone's diapers.
A grown adult's diaper?
I've had the weird thing is I've had a similar situation. I had an ex-girlfriend who was like, you know what? I was just like talking about sexual fetishes. And, you know, I was just
Do you want to
like,
mention her name?
of course not.
The Poo Poo
Yeah.
Princess.
That is not her name. That's
the
her
short
title.
the short should be the Poo Poo Princess.
And then she's like, you know what my fetish is? It's like, let's wear adult diapers all day. If any of us take a shit, like just stick your shit in the diaper and then the other person can change it. And I was like, what the actual
She was like, doesn't that
Fuck!
sound? She was like, doesn't that sound nice?
kind of fetish is this?
Wait,
understandably, we didn't
take
last.
Take us through the facial reactions you were making, like when she was saying, "Hey, you know what? I was thinking."
Oh, I had the most like poker face on. I was like,
You're like,
okay. Wow, that sounds interesting.
yeah.
And then the next day, I'm like, so I don't think we could work.
In the back of my mind, you're
You
like,
know?
who the fuck did I get into a relationship with?
I know. It was so crazy. But the fact that now we have a set of 2 people, have a sample size of 2, makes me wonder how many people out there actually have a diaper fetish.
Oh, it gets
because
crazier.
I thought I was the only person who ever met such a person,
It gets
and you're
crazier.
telling me you know someone
It
else.
gets crazier. Isn't this? There's this channel. I think it's an account called African Jiwa or something like that. So there were people who are giving.
It's African Jiwa.
Yeah,
FYI, for those who don't know Swahili, and
It's a
Jiwa
dove.
is a pigeon or a dove.
Is it a dove? Yeah, whatever.
I don't know why the fuck you'd call yourself African dove, because he talks about the dirtiest shit, and doves are like a sign of purity and peace.
He's a brown dove.
You know, I see the freaking reference.
He's
so,
a brown
yeah.
dove. So yeah, the one
He's
person.
a shitty dove.
One person was talking about how my husband likes to
I bet
watch
doves eat shit.
me insert eggs into my vagina and then I lay them like a hen. That's their fetish. Silence
So,
in the room.
we were looking at
Moving on swiftly.
refunds from Ruga.
The chicken that lays the golden eggs.
Do not kill the goose that lays the golden eggs
Yeah.
is the phrase. But like,
or the girl that.
which means that we don't know of all the husbands that have killed their wives, how many of them violated that saying, because we don't know what their sexual fetishes were before they committed those heinous acts. Maybe their wives were laying eggs in the privacy.
And here's the crazy thing I always say.
And they killed that goose.
Here's the
But
crazy
anyway,
thing I always say. All the people you respect, your pastors, your teachers, they probably have fetishes.
which makes you realize that everybody is human.
Everybody's human, but
Not
at
how
the same
fucking
time,
perfect
everybody's
they try to
weird
look.
as well. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So, the Shoke Festival. Do you know about that?
No, I would never go to such.
So Ruga and get me right, this is the weirdest juxtaposition I've ever heard.
Shoke.
Ruga and Wakadinali was set to
I mean,
headline.
he was
the
with
Shoke.
Steve was Simple Boy. I don't know how they managed to meet, but they made content together. So if he was with
No, I can understand Steve was simple.
Ruger?
I
No,
just
like, there's no.
No, like I'm just like looking from the perspective of extremes.
Okay.
If there's anyone in Kenya that's gonna get like a collaboration out of fucking nowhere, it's literally the most out of left field celebrity out there. Nobody expects Steve Simpleboy to be a celebrity. Nobody even knows what the fuck he does, what kind of music
What
he
is
does.
a Simple Boy anyway?
The literal reason why Steve Simpleboy is viral is because he's so fucking unusual, right? So if an artist, a foreign
What's unusual about Steve Simple?
I am not going to make a comment on that.
He's
But
just a
we
simple
all
boy.
know that it has to do about, with certain appearances. It's like, if a
said it, I
foreign
didn't.
artist comes to Kenya and is like, I want to do the most, like,
Oddball.
jaw-dropping,
Oddball
mind-blowing collaboration, they're going to go for Steve Simpleboy. But
They were
Wakadinali,
playing
I mean, and don't
PlayStation
get me
for
wrong,
me,
I love their music. But then now Wakadinali is someone that you're going to take seriously, which means you're going to have to rank them in the context of other artists in Kenya like Sauti Sol or Nyashinsky. So why the fuck would Ruga, a whole freaking superstar, decide to share a stage with Wakadinali and share the headlining for the event with them? Not to mention, afterwards they cancel, and I kind of know why they canceled, because probably he got to his senses like, why the fuck am I sharing a stage with Wakadinali? But they cancel and then they do not refund people.
Now,
That
here's
is
thing.
the story.
I've heard something about Wakadina. I don't know how true it is now, but then there's an event I went to sometime last year. I think it's one of the event promoters are telling me, "Oh yeah, Wakadina, you can get them for 50,000." So imagine paying a main. And Ruger probably gets millions for his performance, and then you get someone who gets paid
Millions of
50,000.
dollars, maybe?
Not dollars, no.
Hundreds of
see.
thousands of dollars.
Nah, I don't think he gets that much.
I feel like Ruga is gonna
I
come
think
to
if
fact
you're
check
coming
us
to
in the
Kenya,
comments. It's
nah.
gonna be like,
I wish.
brother.
I wish. That's not even how he talks. I think he talks like a regular guy. But anyways, I heard. Well, you can
Are you
book
saying
Wakadina.
Nigerians are not regular guys?
You can-
But, okay, let's go on.
You said Steve Simple Boy was not a simple boy. You said he was something very unusual.
Which kind of like is an ode to his name. I feel like he called himself like that. It's like
He's
him
a
too
complex.
simple.
He's a complex character.
It reminds me of a joke I've ever heard. It's like if you ever meet someone who's like, tell me about you. It's like, Mina Hoga too simple.
That
It's probably because
probably
they
a
have no
narcissist.
character, they have nothing to offer, no looks, so they always say simple. So probably that was a joke. It's like Steve Simple is like, you know what? I'm gonna make a play on that. I mean, Steve was simple,
but he's not simple at all. He's like a mishmash of so many like
complicated things. Yeah,
complications. Even his language.
even the women
Steve
that are
Simple Boy,
attracted to
Steve
him.
Simple
But
Boy
that's
is
a topic for
an
another
enigma.
day.
He's an enigma. Well,
Pretty
she calls herself Pretty
We're
Vishy,
looking
but
at you.
yeah.
She calls herself that too. But anyway,
Does anyone else call her that?
Well, I'd go Baridas in Vietnam.
Oh, that's her name, actually. That's her stage name.
Yeah.
Anyways.
If you have to add the adjective pretty to your name, you just kind of say something about how much you have to try to look a certain kind of way. But anyway, I'm just
moving
saying,
on swiftly.
as far as that is concerned,
We don't
the
know, we don't
main
care.
topic is the Shoki Shoki festival was cancelled, and these guys were
Wait,
like,
you're not drinking it? You know, Ramsey's an alcoholic.
I mean, I have a balaclava and I kind of like this vibe.
Okay,
I'll
okay,
drink
cool,
after the. So like,
This is the most sober episode we've ever done, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, legit.
It's actually pretty enjoyable.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
But
so
like,
worrying.
Yeah. It was
Some
like,
episodes are worrying because you're like, where is this gonna go?
we need to end this now.
We need to end this now.
Yeah, it was like the point was the
Go
Shoki
ahead.
Shoki festival is actually a pretty popular festival in Kenya. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, so then they were telling people, okay, it's cancelled, and now we will give you refunds in 45 to 60 days. And so there was uproar all over the internet, like, why 45 to 60 days? What the hell are you doing with our money? And I've seen this trope play out a lot in a lot of festivals or concerts in Kenya, where like you pay in advance because there's like diehard tickets, early bird tickets, etc. And then the festival gets cancelled, and then you don't get your money back. So I'm looking at them, and the question is, what do you think about this? Do you think that's fair? Do you think like what is going on here?
How much were the ticket prices though?
The ticket prices were.
How much would you pay to go see Ruga and Wakarinali together? Answer in the comments.
I imagine people would charge a lot. I actually don't know how much the Shoki Shoki festival was.
How many songs do Wakarinali
But I
have?
imagine it would be
I'm a
somewhere.
fan, but I don't
It'll
know.
probably be under 5,000, but over 3,000. That's what I'm guessing, right?
It's a weird pricing there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would feel hard done. But I mean, it's a common occurrence in the Kenyan scene, to be honest. It's just like bigger artists.
The question is,
usually do
why is it a
but
common occurrence? Do we see that in other countries? Do we see cancelled concerts in the US? So
I think
people
it's
don't get their
because
money back, for
Kenya
example?
is very lenient on these kinds of like fraud. These types of fraud. Kenya is very lenient.
You remember when I was
It's very
giving
hard
you
to
a
follow
business
on.
idea, and I was like,
Follow up on this.
one of the most lucrative businesses you could start in Kenya, if you just like execute it right. One of the most lucrative businesses we need to start in Kenya is a freaking escrow. So
It exists though.
yeah, for
I think
those
it
people-
exists.
I mean, it exists, but it's not popular. Like for example, right now, lots of people go on Instagram and pay vendors.
We should
before they
probably
deliver
explain
the
what
goods.
escrow is to some of the people who might not understand.
Exactly.
So it's a method of payment where, like, I will deliver the funds to a tertiary service or what do they call it? Like a third party holder.
It's
to
the
hold
man
money.
in the middle.
The man in the middle who
Like,
holds the
okay,
money.
you have the goods. You
You
want
have
the
the-
goods.
you've
Give me
given
the
the
money. Let me know when he delivers the goods,
And then
I'll
I'll
give
pay
him
him.
the money. If he
Yeah.
doesn't deliver the goods, I'll give you the money back. That's an escrow. I am the escrow. But like, we don't have that pretty commonly. A lot of people still get conned in Instagram where they pay for goods before they receive them, and then they go say, "I was scammed." If you're smarter, you're gonna be like, "I'll pay on delivery." But this isn't that common. Ideally, what you want, and escrow services are more common in bigger deals, like you're buying a house,
Or
you're
a company.
buying a car, or a company. But like, I feel like escrow services should be much more common, even for such things as concert tickets. So an escrow service, for example, would
That would
put
be
up.
difficult though to implement.
No, it
event.
wouldn't.
Imagine an
So,
event with 10,000 people.
Think about it. If Ticket Mojo or Hustle Sasa or whatever, whichever one of the many ticket platforms that these people sell on, acted as an escrow, it's like, oh, we have this much ticket sales, but we won't release them to you unless we're sure the show is happening. In which case, if the show isn't happening, we're gonna refund the money.
There's one big caveat. Though.
It would force people to be a lot more
There's
responsible about
there's
their
one
promises.
big caveat though. They're in cahoots. Everybody wants money in Kenya. So even the escrow service would be working with them. They'll be like, hey, the goods were delivered.
I kind of feel like that's a defeatist argument. You
It
know
is the
why?
truth,
Because
though.
like,
It's the
if
truth.
you're an escrow and you're telling people, I will offer this is the whole essence of how an escrow makes money is like, I will make sure I get this. First of all,
Isn't this Wakarinali? Oh, you missed it.
yeah, it's like the escrow charges the vendor, right? Or the producer. Like, I'll make sure there's money for your goods. You just have to go deliver them. But I'll take like 4%. If you run a proper escrow business, you're making a lot of revenue because for every transaction, you're licking off the top 4%. So if it's purely about money, because think about it from the perspective of lemons. And you know this because we've dealt with like a lot
Lemons.
of the lemon law. It's like, how do you prevent lemons? Like, if you're a car dealer, and I'm sorry, it's gonna sound like it's going off the tangent, but I'll get back to the main point soon. Like, if you're a car dealer and you're selling like shitty cars, that means every customer you manage to dupe into selling your shitty car to is not gonna be a repeat customer. They're gonna go and they're gonna be like, fuck, that guy was shit, and then they're gonna go away. So if you want to keep getting repeat customers, which means you're playing the long game, you want to put up a proper dealership, offer them coffee, have couches, actually make sure you vet your cars and so on. It's about playing long-term games, and this is game theory in essence, if you like follow that kind of shit. So if you're in Kenya and you're like, I'm just gonna con people for as long as I can, eventually the logic says you're gonna run out of people to con. So if you really want to play the long game and make sure you ensure your income, make sure you run a legitimate business where you're nevertheless making a revenue or profit, but also you're offering people a service they so desperately need. And that's why I think an escrow would make sense in Kenya.
Well, it's to be discovered, to be discussed. We'll find out.
Speaking of people being in cahoots, let's talk about the cartels that Ruto told Mambo ni Matatu. Because that's been such a trending meme in Kenya.
Yeah.
So what happened is, and I'm reading Trevor's brief here. So this week, President Ruto made his famous, or if you will,
infamous
Mambo ni Matatu speech, which have spawned lots of memes.
Mambo ni
right?
Matatu means there's three things.
People have even made t-shirts for that shit. People are always ready to make t-shirts for shit.
We should make t-shirts.
We should make t-shirts for shit. In the speech, he addressed the cartels in the sugar industry. So according to him, he had sent 3 billion shillings and then 1 billion shillings. That's a total of 4 billion. And then 500 million, that makes it 4.5 billion, for the Mumias sugar company to pay its sugarcane farmers and continue sugar production to reduce sugar costs. However, all the money was used up and farmers are still not paid. So he then gave his speech saying that the cartels have only 3 options. Either you leave the country, or you go to jail, or you go to heaven. Now, the third option caught people off guard, understandably. Was he really going to unalive these cartels? So it turns out that these guys, what they were doing, which is pretty clever, I want to spell it out. What they were doing is they were taking each other to court, suing each other, and then using the money that Ruto sent to pay the legal fees. So somehow, they were still within the law, even though they were using the money, right? So we have a president trying to weed out corruption, but thieves are stealing legally.
Yeah.
And our Law Society of Kenya understandably condemned Ruto's words, Azimio, some Kenyans, blah, blah, blah.
Politicians are probably the biggest thieves.
We have a weird dilemma here because, we have, literally our president, love him or hate him, who's, at least by virtue of his words alone, is trying to stand up to corruption. But then, he's taking on the billionaire cartels. But then we have billionaire cartels that are using the law to go around and steal money anyway. So how do you solve that particular problem?
It's difficult to solve when you're part of the problem.
Do you think that the current government is part of the corruption problem?
100%. I mean, the newspapers did a feature that showed that every time a president comes into office, they have this fund for, I forgot the other ones, but then I remember this one in particular was the Hustler Fund, where they embezzle billions.
There's always some publicly announced fund that's supposed to help someone.
And it never goes according to plan. It always goes awry.
Yeah. National Youth Fund, I think during the Uhuru era.
And I've always said this.
Fund.
I've always said this. If you think about it, how high things have gone in tax, we should be able to clear our debt very quickly. But
one of the most mind-blowing facts I read was in all the years Uhuru was president, because he was president for 10 years, I believe.
I think so.
In that period, 5 years, I believe. The shilling lost 30 shillings to the dollar. So it went from 80 shillings to 110.
Now for Ruto,
Ruto came on and he lost 27 shillings in the 11 months he's been president.
27 or more?
Well,
because it's a dollar right now is 140, right?
Yeah, exactly. So
that's 30 something. That's 30.
We have lost more ground to the dollar in 11 months than we lost in 10 years before that. 1 year. And I mean, I know Forex, especially even considering the global economical situation, is a lot more complicated, but it does raise eyebrows, right? Let's talk about Steve Harvey now.
Let's talk about
that and then finish it. And we can do a meme review and then finish
Steve Harvey does this thing where he's like, a man needs 5 suits, and he talks about suits that only he has. Steve Harvey is the type of guy to wear red suits.
I feel like a lot of people don't know about Steve Harvey's
weirdness.
His reputation.
He's a weirdo.
Why is Steve Harvey so popular? Why does it matter that he was allegedly cheated on?
Most people don't know. Steve Harvey actually used to be a good stand-up comedian. He was really, he's been around for ages.
Did you ever laugh at his jokes?
Yeah, he was good. He was quite funny, actually. We'll probably look for one of his stand-up shows and play. But it was really funny. Back in the stand-up days.
And then he started a show.
Talk show.
And then he started another show. Because we have the Steve Harvey show, which was whatever it was. And then now we have this weird thing where he gives people marriage advice.
I have something random. Do you know, there's no Kenyan I know called Harvey. There's Mackenzie's.
There's a Harvard.
There's one major
There's
Mackenzie.
a Harvard. They forgot the R before the
Harvard?
V. Yeah, I know a Harvard school.
Like Harvard.
Somewhere like that.
No, but someone
But
called
anyone gives a fuck.
You know, these people like to copy like American names. You have Mackenzie, you have Anderson. And Louis
But
especially.
no one calls their kid Harvey.
No one. Or Murphy. Murphy would be a funny one.
I mean, no one calls their kid Tyler.
Murphy would be hilarious because the pronunciation is
Yeah.
like you're in a roll call in class and it's like
Or Chad.
Kevin,
I'd love
Peter,
to say a Kenyan kid called
Murphy.
Chad.
and then it's just like
Chad Murioki.
'cause
Let me
Murphy's
tell you,
like-
it's just Chad Murioki.
Chad Murioki.
Chad.
Sounds like a handsome guy. Chad Murioki.
No, because Chad's like you know you
Yeah,
you,
Chad,
you,
Chad.
it's the what do they call it? The subliminal messaging behind the name. Checks with you like, hey, she's dating a Chad. It's like you think of a Chad as like an alpha male. So if you hear a kid called Chad, you're gonna assume they're handsome,
Even if it's a Murioki.
even if it's a Morioki.
Or Kid
But I don't know of anyone called Chad in
or
Kenya.
Harvey or Murphy.
Or Harvey or Murphy.
Murphy.
Murphy, I can see the potential for for the jokes because nobody can pronounce Murphy correctly.
Murphy.
Murphy!
You go for your ID. You go for your ID at Huduma Center. Murphy.
I used to have this friend in high school. I told you this joke, right?
Young
he was
Murphy.
so short. He was the shortest kid in class. And we used to have this geography teacher who just didn't, for some weird fucking reason, have a filter in his mouth.
We have 3 minutes left.
And the geography teacher would be like, one day, out of nowhere,
Before
I
we
don't know
come.
what the fuck that kid did to annoy him. He was like, when you fupi cash on their show. That's what he said.
No, let's go back to Steve Harvey.
And ever since, this was in Form 1.
That was shocking.
Up until Form 4, everyone in the class used to call him Shonde. Imagine being the kid in class that everyone calls Shonde. Like, your life will never be the same. We still see him today, several years later after high school.
still call him
Hey,
Shonde.
there's a Shonde. Like, fuck, could you stop?
In our high
Imagine
school, we had
that
a guy
being your
called
nickname.
Kicho. He had a big head. He looked like a lollipop because his body was so small and his head was really big. So
We might
to this
not
day,
get to
we
talk
know
about Steve Harvey.
we know him as Kichwa. Steve Harvey would be Mustachio.
I do have some memes though. Can we just do the reviews? Steve
Alright.
Harvey allegedly got cheated on his wife. Him and his wife both denied it. There are a lot of stories about how allegedly the wife they met before in the 90s and then the wife left him because he didn't have money, or he left her because he didn't have money, and then he divorced his wife to get back with her, and then allegedly she had sex, she bumped uglies with both his bodyguard and his cook, and then she demanded a divorce and 200 million, and then everybody was shouting about it, and then Steve Harvey said, this is crazy, I'm not divorcing my wife, and the wife said, this is crazy, I'm not divorcing Steve Harvey. But then, you know, where there's smoke there's fire, so you know it's a whole conspiracy. Go make of it what you
She
will.
cheated on him
We're
with
doing
the
the meme
she
review
cheated
now.
on him with the wachi and the cook.
That is why Wachi.
He's the bodyguard. He's the
Why
Wachi.
would you? Like, that's so disrespectful to bodyguards everywhere. But anyway, I have a meme for you. Right? I saw a really crazy dance here.
Wait, let me see it. I
Okay.
thought you were gonna describe it. That would be crazy.
Okay, yeah, no. It's a really crazy dance. I'm trying to look for it. Where the
This is
fuck?
the one where the guy's dicks.
Look at it.
Wait,
I'm gonna
wait.
send this over, and then they're gonna put it in the video.
God, what is this?
Just look at how the guy dances. And I'm like, people have some weird talents out here.
How did you learn he could do this?
How did he?
Look at this.
Was he sneaking to go steal the meat in the kitchen? Like, what the fuck was he doing?
like a-
where
it's
he had
a-
to tiptoe
It's like an
so
advanced.
fast?
It's like an advanced tiptoe.
Yeah, exactly. And then another one. So you know how kids hate class? Look at this one. This kid just
And
like
then-
fucking stormed out of it. I'm gonna send that to wife as well.
I used to be like this kid, actually. I used
No,
to
look
just
at what he
fuck-
does. He gets extra.
No,
as fuck.
I legit used to do this. I used to like just walk out and say, "Fuck this shit."
Fuck this, I'm done.
That's why I'm doing a podcast for a living now.
Don't-
Oh shit! I never threw the trash.
I told you! You're gonna get mind blown. He gets really extra towards the end. It's like, what the fuck? Why
Even
did you do
kicks
that?
the thing. But what makes you think? I think this was staged though, because why is the teacher recording in the first place? During an
I think the
exam.
teacher was doing a TikTok.
During
we have
an
like
exam,
a current
yeah,
trend
yeah,
where
yeah.
teachers do TikToks during class.
It's really
It's a
shameful,
whole
isn't it?
topic, you know? So she just happened to
Another
capture
one.
the right
Show
thing.
me another one.
Okay, I'll show you
I'm like a
another
kid
one,
in a candy
right?
store.
Okay, here's one, right? This one is pretty cool. Have you ever been in uni where like
I have.
you know you
I'm
do
educated.
group projects and then you do like a presentation?
I used to
and
hate those because
someone
I used to
laughs
do
at you?
all the work.
So imagine you do a presentation and then a girl laughs at you. What's the worst thing you're gonna do in revenge?
I don't know. Maybe roast her in the middle of the presentation because
So
I'm
this
very
guy,
witty.
what he did is he searched for her group. He asked the topic they were presenting on, and then when she was presenting, he spent 4 days researching on it.
Oh
and he asked her
my
so
God.
many
To make
questions,
her
like
look
it was
stupid.
common knowledge, that she cried during the presentation.
That guy must have felt
And
so
then
good
he
when he
ends
went
it with
home.
like, "Stay blessed."
He must have felt so good when he was done.
I know.
There's
Like,
some petty people out
fucking
there.
how crazy can you get?
So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Mambo ni matatu, dakika ni tatu, sekunde ni tatu at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So sisi ni wawili lakini.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for these 60 minutes.
This was a really good recording. I think we covered most of what we needed to cover.
I believe we did. If we didn't, let us know in the
I
comments.
mean, we covered most of what we needed to cover.
Yeah.
You know.
But we probably don't need to cover this too much. Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in. See you on the next one. Be blessed.
This
Stay
is
blessed.
Ramsey.
This is Jean. This is ThinkShack.
And this is KO. And
I love it personally.
I would love to recommend that you drink it in your house, not in a club, because you're not even going to find it in a club anyway.
But try anyways. Bye, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.